State your name and rank.
My name is Paul Fisher, and I'm a professor and vice chair of the Department of Pharmacology at Sunnybrook. And I've been here since 1983. I have 3 children, 2 of whom have significant disabilities, one of whom doesn't. One who doesn't recently finished a PhD in ecology and evolution. He's going to be 31 in May. 2 children. One is Jeremy, and the other is Gillian. Gillian is about to finish a BA at Sunnybrook, where she's been working on it pretty steadily for the past 8 years. She's majoring in theater and currently wondering where to go from here, what to do at this point. She's got OCD and probably some form of Asperger Syndrome, and Gillian is an example of what I would consider a very high functioning child. She's currently about to turn 25 or 26. 26, time flies. And she is at this point in time trying to figure out what to do with the rest of her life, particularly since there are pretty significant disabilities, things like driving, things like living or going away from home. The 3rd child is Jeremy, and he's an example of what I would... He also has an Asperger's-like syndrome. He's been called at various points in time also OCD and learning disabled. And unlike Gillian, Jeremy is an example of what I would consider a relatively low-functioning person. Examples of his low function: he took a couple of courses at Suffolk Community College and was basically unable to keep up with college work. He's currently at extreme loose ends as to what to do with his life. I'm not sure that I have any idea where he's going at this point.
When you say your son is low functioning, do you mean he's full-blown autistic, or do you mean...
No, he has language. He's able to take care of his basic needs, which full-blown autistic kids can't. And he, for example, he graduated high school and he received a local diploma.
Do you feel there are enough programs out there for young adults with psychological disabilities such as Asperger Syndrome?
Clear from what I've said so far is that there are no programs out there for kids. They basically have to find their own way in the world. They have to, with the help, most of them come from relatively dysfunctional families. Jeremy and Gillian are fortunate in the sense that their family structure is pretty good. And that means that much of the burden is not on the kids themselves, but on the parents, my wife and myself. And we are frankly pretty much at a loss as to what to recommend or what to suggest to these two, because as I said, there are very few services out there. With Jeremy, it's not clear where he's going or what we can recommend to him. He's been focused up to now on volunteer work. He goes once a week to a Medicaid-sponsored service called the Clubhouse. Bottom line with somebody like Jeremy is that since he doesn't have the academic strength to focus on, it's not clear what is left, what can be focused on instead.
Do you think raised awareness of the autism spectrum would help create more programs for young adults?
It certainly can hurt, and it's more than that. I think that because a lot of resources, a lot of efforts have gone into autism of late, there are a lot of services for children that didn't used to exist. Until you successfully bring these children into young adulthood, these services, there's no pressure to develop these services because there's nobody who's in need of them.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
State your name, age, and status.
My name is Gillian Fisher-Reid. I'm 28 and I'm unemployed.
Are you currently in school?
No.
Can you handle school, college?
If there were more help, yes, but not at this current time.
Do you have any psychological disabilities?
Yes, I have 3.
What are they?
OCD, a learning disability, and Asperger's.
And is this part of the reason why you can't handle college?
Yes.
Have you attempted college?
Yes.
How did that go?
It took me longer than most people to complete just a year of college. It took me 4 years. And that was one of the reasons why I was having trouble. I was also having trouble taking notes.
What do you think of the services offered to people with autism, psychological disabilities?
The services are good, and they'll only get better with time. But at this point in time, they're not where they should be.
Have you been employed in the past?
Yes.
Did you tell them you were disabled?
They knew I was disabled, but they did not know what disability I had.
How were you treated?
Well, in my second job, not as well in my first.
Where were the 2 jobs?
Sears and BJ's.
Do people typically understand you, provide understanding, not necessarily just in jobs, but in general?
Not always. It depends on the person. Usually if I've just met someone, I'll have to explain certain things if something happens. But usually they're pretty understanding.
Do you think the nation world is aware enough of people with psychological disabilities?
Yes and no, because it depends what disability you're talking about.
Let's say the autism spectrum.
No. They're just starting to get aware of high functioning autism. They're more aware of low functioning autism and how to deal with it, but they're not as aware of high functioning. They kind of slip through the cracks, so to speak.
Do you feel that you fit in society?
Yes.
How so?
Just the same way anyone else would fit in.
Do you have any friends?
I have a lot of friends.
So you have no trouble socializing?
I do, but it doesn't seem to bother me bother my friends rather, because they are understanding about it.
What troubles do you have socializing?
I have trouble with social P's and Q's.
Do you consider yourself independent and capable of supporting yourself?
Yes. Not independent at this moment, but I feel that I am capable of supporting myself in time.
And would you consider yourself low functioning or high functioning on the autism spectrum?
High functioning.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thanks.